people are starting to arrive for the official launch and the opening by Wayne Hemingway, who's the co-founder of Red and Dead and more recently Hemingway Design. He's just joined us here this morning to do this official launch. So the sorting office itself is part of our growing portfolio of hubs for creative businesses in Eastleigh. It was originally, as you can hopefully see, part of the Royal Mail's old sorting office, and we've tried to keep the industrial feel going as we've redesigned this part of the building. The spaces have been converted to make it home to, at the moment, 14 start-up businesses, all designer makers. And as we walk through, you'll be able to see some of the businesses who have moved in already. Come this way. I'm going to have a little talk now to one of our residents, April Moore-Winning. April, can I interrupt you just for a moment? Thank you. Because we're just going live streaming for our launch of the sorting office, so we wanted to get some words from one of our new residents. So what made you want to come and work here?
I was really excited by the prospect of having this really new space. I've been at the Arches for many years, which is in Southampton, which is under a railway bridge. And the idea of having all this daylight and being in a mix of people with similar sort of talents was really exciting.
So you're hoping to take your business onto its next stage by being here?
Yes, definitely.
I see you've got things all sort of set up here. You make leather goods, is that right?
Yeah, I hand make leather purses and Kindle covers and travel card holders. So they're all handmade by me and hand printed and all lined with satins and things. So yeah.
And obviously one of the things we're doing here at the sorting office is that there's going to be business advice and business development, so hopefully you're going to take advantage of that as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited about getting some business mentoring, because when you're sewing and you're creating, sometimes you don't have the capacity to think about marketing or how to promote yourself, so the idea of being able to have someone help you with that while you can get on and work is amazing. It's really great.
And as you know, we've got some European funding for this project as well, so we're actually working with 14 other hubs, some of them in France, and we hope to be taking some of you over to a craft market in France later this year.
Wow, that's really exciting.
So we could go international quite quickly.
Yeah. Northern Ireland, Southampton, France. It's really good.
Well, thanks very much for speaking to us, April. So we're going to make our way through, because I think Wayne's going to be doing his opening speech shortly. So, perhaps you'd like to tell us what you're doing here at the sorting office?
Well, previously I was painting on canvas, but now I'm sort of moving into designing wallpaper.
Wallpaper? Yeah. Oh, I quite saw that for my bedroom, actually. So I suppose being in the sorting office is giving you a bit more space to develop new ideas.
Oh, definitely. And just having all the other people around, bouncing ideas off each other, just their spaces, everything on their walls. It just inspires you.
Yeah, a lot of people have commented on that sort of networking opportunity and the atmosphere of different creative people working together. You never know where that's going to take you, what the stimulus is. So how long have you been here, about 2 or 3 weeks now?
I think it's since the end of March.
Yeah, so sort of settling in.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
The real work starts after today.
Yeah.
Business development starts. So thanks very much for speaking to us, Mariska. So if we carry on. So we have 14 companies here working in all ranges of designer making, so from illustrators to textile workers to people working in historic costumes. So it's nice that although they're within a broad range of the designer maker vogue, that we have different aspects of that. It's going to be really interesting to see how that develops as things go forward. As well as the 14 cubicles here and 3 separate units behind us, we also have the production house, which we're going to go and have a look at now. Let's have a quick word with Mick Smith, who's the chair of the board of a company called A-Space, that we've brought in to manage the sorting office, because they have years of experience of looking after start-up businesses and workspaces. Hi Mick, thanks for coming today.
Well, it's wonderful to be here at the opening, and I mean, we were talking earlier, weren't we, about this obviously looks as if it's been here a while now, but it's only just opening today. But for the last 3 years we've been beavering away and behind the scenes, and yeah, no, it's been a real pleasure.
The plan comes together, isn't it?
Isn't it lovely? Today is great walking around, and here we are. Here's the reality of it.
You got off to a speech now.
Yes, yeah, indeed. So,
I won't keep you.
all right, thanks.
You can see it's a different atmosphere in this part of the building. This is being used by small companies and theatre companies, dance companies who need to create sets and costumes, and until now we haven't had a place for that to happen. We've already found it's been a really flexible space because we've had film screenings here, meetings, workshops, so that we think this is going to be a really interesting space as it develops. We've got lots of equipment in here that people can use, both the tenants who are in the sorting office, but also by individuals who can come and hire this space for a day, a week, a month. I'd like to welcome you here to the sorting office, and we're going into the formal part of our presentation this morning, our speeches and our official opening. I'd like to hand you over first to Councillor Peter Ward, who's the Portfolio Review Councillor for Regeneration and Economic Development.
Thank you, Cheryl. You come forward. You come in. I had in mind when the speaker back up in the next half an hour, I thought possibly we should go through a few minutes. I would be fairly brief. But I start by apologising for the absence of the leader of the council, Councillor Keith House, who should have been here today. Unfortunately, part of his hand was eaten by a dog on the election day. But it is funny until we kept saying to him, "How do you feel, rough?" And where is he? He's in hospital having it stitched up. It's not a major injury, but he couldn't be here. But it does have the 100% commitment of Eastleigh Borough Council and the legal council to make this project work. It's a triple way partnership. It's a partnership between here in the UK and Europe, and never mind. It's a partnership on the council between the leisure and sports section, my friend Alan Broadus is the councillor for that, and the economic development side, which is me, and it's a partnership within the partnership for Over South Hampshire, so it's all partnerships. But the important people here today are not us, or even Wayne, it is in fact you. Because you are the people that will make this work or make it fail. At the moment you're full of all sorts of enthusiasms, and the fascinating thing for us was to come in here this morning into what had been a bare building looking rather like a rather posh stable. But today it had a buzz, a life, an activity about it, which was fascinating, brilliant to see. Do keep that buzz. But when worries come with your businesses, and they will, because it's a hard game running your own business, do ask, do share information with each other, do come forward to the project managers, do come forward to the council, the Catherine Rankin, the economic development, Cheryl. Never suffer in silence. If you want to win, you will win, but it will you that win, not us. That's about all I have to say at the moment. I'm going to hand over now to my colleague, who actually is doing the organising work, Mick.
Thank you very much. I'm also going to be brief. I did want to say a couple of things though. This is absolutely amazing, and I always love the openings of new studios. And we've got a couple in Southampton, and now we are in Eastleigh. It's been an absolute joy working with Eastleigh, and I think one of the great things about it, and I have been banging on about this for years, is when council, economic development departments and culture departments work together, you can do an enormous amount. And I wish, and anybody who's listening to the live stream who's from a council where that doesn't happen, I wish everybody did that. I mean, I'm here as a good chair of trustees. I swoop in at the last minute and take the credit, but the person who would have been here if he possibly could, and who's done nearly all the work on this from our point of view, from A-Space point of view, is Dan Crow. So Dan, if you are listening on the live stream, I'm sorry you can't be here either. And yeah, I just wanted to say congratulations to everybody who's got a space here, and A-Space believes in people. Buildings are great, but buildings are things for doing things in, as opposed to ends in themselves. And I suppose the other thing, just as a tiny bit of background, is that this is the opening today. For us, it's the end of nearly 3 years in developing this project. Initially looking at other venues and finally finding the right venue and the right combination of funding and motivation. And here we are, it's happened. Thank you.
I thought I was going to have an earth-shattering announcement live now. I contemplated something earlier, but I'm not going to say anything. Can I just say that we are absolutely delighted to have Wayne Hemingway, champion of the creative sector, to be here to formally open the unit. He's supported the Enliven project for 3 years, thereabouts, at Eastleigh. And so we're delighted he's here. We think that Eastleigh is lucky for him, and we hope he'll come back. And there we are. We're going to ask Wayne to say a couple of words and formally open the project.
I was going to say more than a couple of words, actually. The first thing is aimed at you, the councillors, and the economic development people. And, you know, what the creative industries are doing for Britain is pretty significant. It is now the second biggest driver of the economy. It's just reached 50 billion. It's the second biggest employer, and there are more people now studying in the creative industry, 60,000 students a year in further education than in any other sector. It's now crossed over from being, when I grew up, the idea that you could ever be, the word creative, I don't think it could have been used in our household, even though it was a very creative household. It wasn't the idea that you could go into something called the creative industries. You know, I'm not that old, but it didn't exist when I was starting out. And the idea that you could come from a family with my background, a working class family, and be the word designer didn't exist. So that's very exciting now because why is it? Well, it's exciting that it can make money for the country. That's important. You know, we have to. If you can have an industry that makes you happy, and this industry, you know, what would we all rather be doing than doing this? There isn't a lot, is there? You know, and if you look at, we've just done some research. I'm on the trustee board of the Design Council. And we've just done some research into truancy levels at school, and the highest truancy levels. Well, one of the lowest truancy levels at school. It's significant. It's not just like 0.1%. It's significant. The lowest truancy levels are in music, art, and design. And what are the highest truancy levels in? The STEM subjects: science, technology, English, and maths. What is bloody Gove? I'm live streaming. What is Michael Gove? What is he pushing? What has he been pushing? He's been pushing to make music, art, and design worth 50% of the STEM subjects in the English baccalaureate. So, but yet it makes the country money. It makes us happy. You know, luckily he's been pushed down a bit. We've all got to. There's a political side to this. You've got to fight. You've got to fight for this and say what it does for your town. I've just come back from. Has anybody? I know it sounds flat. I've just come back from Williamsburg, Brooklyn, in New York. Has anybody been there recently? 15 years ago. We owned Red or Dead, so it's more than 50. Well, we sold Red or Dead 15 years ago. We used to travel to New York. You know, we had shops out there. We did trade shows out there. The last place that you would ever go when you went to New York would be to stay in Brooklyn, to go over the Brooklyn Bridge, to go into that area now called Dumbo, down under Manhattan and Brooklyn overpass. The idea of going to Williamsburg, no way. Everything was focused on Manhattan, and New York was the. As soon as you got away from Manhattan, was just like the films of Serpico and all those, you know, all those 1970s, you know, where you see the subway with all the graffiti on it rattling on. That's what New York was like not that long ago. Go there now. It's a creative insurgency. There's no other word for it. Young people taking spaces like this without help. They did it on their own mostly. I don't think the council had the foresight there to do it. But what happened was, there's only one place to stay now in New York. There's only one place to eat in New York. There's only one place that's interesting to shop if you've got anything about you. You can't bloody get near Williamsburg. The food markets, and it's all small businesses that have created something that's so exciting. Who's been to the Mitte district in Berlin? The Mitte district is second only to London now in terms of the most exciting place to be in Europe. And who did it? You lot. You know, the German equivalent of people in this room. You know, we did it. And you can go. I can keep saying this all around the world. You know, East London. You know, what we're working on the East Village, they call it now. It's the Olympic Park. They're not calling it the Olympic Park, they're calling it the East Village, because East London is where it's at. The Olympics was then, East London is now. And so, the only way that Olympic, whatever they say about Olympic legacy, the only reason that is going to sing and grow into a massively exciting part of London is because already it's been taken by the creative industries. East London is owned by creative people, and that's allowed the Olympic legacy to have a real legacy. So you have to, there'll be times over the next few years where there'll be issues with this building. I've seen it happen other places. It looks like the roof's all right, but a thunderbolt might hit it, and you might say, "Oh, can we afford?" A bit might fall off a plane taken off from Eastleigh Airport. Well, it doesn't. And then the council will say, "Oh, we've been given cutbacks, we can't fix it." Oh, you have to. You have to protect this place. You have to protect, because it's not just what goes on in here. It's what results from their thinking. Some of these people in here will go and advise and do creative thinking for people on the airport, because design isn't about, most people in here. You're doing something. It might be screen printing. It might be theatrical costumes. But most people will also have the devil in them. Most creative people have that thing where they want to see change for the better, and that often means that they're there to stick. These people should be here advising. If I was you, now you've got all these people here, I would try to get 2 of them on the council. Because they're going to give you a different perspective. Oh, I will say more about that actually. We did a really huge regeneration scheme in Boscombe. Not a million miles from here, down towards Bournemouth. And the only reason why Boscombe has had all sorts of issues over the years, through dumping ground for mainly single men. We know what happens in places like that. But that place is coming up. It's got elements of what happened in Brighton 40 years ago. And why is it happening? It's because it's got two creative 30-year-olds on the council who are bringing that creative thinking, who are bringing that fresh look at the world, the kind of people who can make Williamsburg from being a place where prostitutes only exist. That's where people went to pick up prostitutes. I don't know how I knew that, but not guilty at all. Happily married, 4 kids and all that. But that's what design, that's what creativity can do. It can take an area of deprivation and it can bring it up. But you need these people for more than just existing here and doing their business. Bring them into your thinking as well. I declare this place open.
That was a tour de force, wasn't it? Just to reinforce Marley on the business of being a councillor. It does interest you, but even if it doesn't, do come and talk to us.
2 of you become councillors. I just want to add to that. I just want to add to it. I know it's really difficult when you've got a family, when you've got a mortgage to pay, and I know then you often get. These are true public servants, but often they're able to. You've got more time at your time of life, haven't you, to give up.
So I'm very old.
Yeah. we need to balance. You can't. No matter how forward-thinking this guy is, I've never met him before, no matter how well read he is, no matter whether he goes to art cinemas or whatever, you can't expect him to totally understand what a 20-odd-year-old or even somebody here with a 15-year-old kid, what they want out of life. And we have in this country, we do have to change get more like Northern Europe, where we have fantastic chaps like this, but also younger elements to balance it up. So what he's saying is so right. He must do it. He must try and do it.
Secondly, I'm going to shut up in a minute. Let me on to something I must say. Also in this town centre, we have 2 business organisations that you would do well to look at. One is the Town Centre Partnership. There's one member there. There's another one who I can't quite see is in the building somewhere. But the chair of it actually runs a sewing machine and art and craft shop. So that's one interest. And the second point is we are trying to develop a business improvement district in the town centre. Your contributions into how that might be, what it might be, where it might be, would be most valuable. Finished with a thank you. I thank you, our special guests. May I also thank you, our Head of Culture, Cheryl. Catherine Rankin. She is the lady, and her staff, Catherine Rankin, Economic Development, talking about town centre parks and all the rest. Shut up now, go and have a look, go and have an interest, go and have a bun, go and have a coffee. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.